Hello everyone, welcome to this training video. So today we're going to do a little bit of training on credit repair, unsecured debt, those type of calls. Basically, this training can be used for American debt as well as credit pro campaigns. So if you're doing American debt or credit pro, both of these campaigns can be useful when it comes to this training. All right. So what are you calling about? Let's break it down. So can help users with over $10,000 in unsecured debt and can afford $200 a month for help. Now, even if you're calling about credit repair, normally when we're speaking of unsecured debt, the most probable reason is credit cards. And this is the easiest thing to call in about if you're speaking of unsecured debt. There are other types of unsecured debt, but credit cards is the most assumed easy reason to call in. Now, first of all, we need to prepare for our call, okay? This includes preparing with a pen and paper for notes that you're going to take on the call. You need to come up with at least 3 questions you would ask an agent. This is really important that you map out and you come up with 3 questions before you ever call. You don't want to get on the call and just assume that you can come up with questions as you go. This doesn't always work. These agents are professionals and they are trained very well to move through their call. This also includes any research on the topic of the call through Google if you need additional help. Sometimes it really helps to Google on the services that you might be calling about, even Googling information on credit repair or unsecured debt and finding out what types of debt is considered unsecured. We're also going to want to know what service you're calling about. So here you'll be calling about having over $10,000 in unsecured debt, which will roughly cost you services of $200 a month to get help. You'll need to act as if you're a customer interested in this and you can afford that $200 a month, okay, or whatever they quote. Unsecured debt, as I said, most commonly serviced are credit cards, and this will be the easiest approach to the call. Let's talk about knowing what you're calling about. So here, the key thing is to know details on your situation. You'll not pass as a customer without having your story straight, basically. So this is possibly going to take some preparation of writing some things. Examples are the amounts of debt you'll owe. Okay, you don't just want to call in and saying, oh, I owe over $10,000 in debt. The typical customer that owes that much money in debt, they can tell you down to the exact penny what they're being hounded for. So maybe it's $11,200.28. They know to the penny. So you need to make sure you have an actual amount. So if you're just paying minimums or how behind you are, and even if you've maxed out credit cards, you need to know how you got into this situation as well. I know from my experience making this call, I've stated that I lost my job at one time. I am now employed, but while I was unemployed, I had to take care of my family. So we really required to use those credit cards to live, to pay the bills, to buy food. That's how we survived. Well, unfortunately, it caught all back up with me, and now that I'm employed, I have these bills to pay. Okay. Be thorough, you guys. It's very important on these calls to be thorough in detail in what you're calling about. Expect the agent to ask specific information on your situation. Their job is to help you, and the information is needed in order to understand what may help you the most. So it's vital to be prepared to have a conversation on this call and discuss specifics on what they do and what you need. You guys, detail is everything. All right, it's everything on any call you make, but especially here. This is not a call where you can simply say, well, I owe over $10,000 on some credit cards. It's a mess. I just need help. My example in this training is $11,238. Keep in mind, when you come up with an amount, Be realistic, okay? Your average customer calls in about 10,000 to 12,000 in debt. While larger amounts do exist, you don't want them laughing, as you obviously don't owe this much debt, because the more debt you owe, it's a very, very tense situation. So you cannot call into this campaign and this client acting like you're dancing through the hills of lollipops and gumdrops, okay? This is a very stressful situation for customers that owe this much debt. So you really need to hold your demeanor appropriately. Obviously, if you owe that much in debt, you're not going to be skipping around and singing. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be a little tense. You're going to be a little aggravated and having some questions. They're professionals. They dealt with many people. So they're going to be able to pick up quickly on this not being a real potential customer. You also need to give details on possible types of cards you have: Visa, MasterCard, Amex, whatever the card is. Which ones you're behind on, which ones you're just paying minimums on, or even if you maxed out a card. You need to prepare before this call and simply just know your situation on this call. Okay, so you need to know what you're calling about. That's the biggest thing. If you do not understand the nature of this call, even after this training, you may not be comfortable, and that's okay. Maybe you are an agent that's never had credit card debt. You don't know how to approach this. We really encourage you to use Google, and we have so many tools at our fingertips to make this a solid call. Google information on getting help with credit card debt. You know, what is unsecured debt? Or, you know, questions about unsecured debt. There's many ways that you can Google for information that can help you here. So please use resources if needed. We want you to be able to fully understand what you're calling about, but also the culture of the client's work in the industry that they work in. So let's cover some example questions, you guys. You guys are probably wondering, okay, well, I don't know 3 questions that I could ask. Well, just remember, these are only a few of many questions I can ask, and this is only to guide you. You can think of your own questions as you learn, and you can use Google as well. So one question you can ask is, if I do get approved for help through you, will I still need to deal with the creditors? Do you still have to deal with all the credit card companies if you're paying for help? What exactly do they do to step in? Will I still get a monthly statement in the mail from the creditors while this helps me? This is important, you guys, because sometimes it's really crucial to get that statement from your creditors while you're getting help. That way you can compare and see what's happening at all times. How long does it typically pay off this much debt? All right, some might tell you 6 years. You might have a worry that it's 6 years. You might be surprised that they tell you it only takes 6 months through their program. It's really interesting to find out what information they have. If at any point I get a new job, does this impact the services I qualify for now to get help? Okay, this is important. Maybe you got a job increase or a promotion or a new job altogether, and you were approved for services that were based on your income. Is that going to impact your services? What happens? What can I expect to pay out of pocket for services? How exactly does your company work? I'm really confused and I'm trying to find solutions with all this over my head. Just bear with me. I'm trying to follow you. Okay, just let them know. You're really just wanting to know some in-depth information on how they work. Do your costs or rates change at any given time? What happens if anything is in collections? So here we have 8 different questions that you can possibly ask, which are very good questions, but you can also come up with questions on your own, and Google is always your best friend, or a search engine such as Bing. I'm a Bing user. You can find a lot of information there as well. And hopefully this training has helped prepare you all for these types of campaigns. And again, this training is perfect for the call for American Debt or Credit Pro. anything associated with unsecured debt, credit repair, this training can really help you. And I really hope that you got a lot of use out of this training. I look forward to training you in another video, but I look forward to how much you guys are going to succeed on this call now that we went over everything. All right, everyone, have a great day, and thank you so much for training with me.